I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me. Gon' back it up. Matter what? Told ya I'ma do me. Why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck. Country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up. Only buying car to get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. I ran up a...
Good evening, YouTube. How is everybody doing? Welcome back. A&M, Almost Mediocre Sports Guys. I'm Anthony. This is Mike.
Howdy,
How's it going, Mike?
Going pretty good, sir. Going pretty good. Yourself? I hear you got a little bit of inclement weather there, as they say.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. 70s throughout the middle of the week. Everything's nice. Feels like it's getting hotter.
Just in time for the weekend.
And man, Friday night, I don't know what happened. All this rain started hitting, and then it was raining throughout the night, and some more rain today. And then daughter had a volleyball tournament. We were there for her first game, and as the way out, where after her first game's over, we're going to walk out, and it's like now it's snowing. Went from rain to snow and all this crazy. I was like, oh man.
That's called springtime in Colorado, bud.
Yep, exactly. You're not wrong.
Yeah, it's
good to be back.
It's been a nice balmy 84, almost 86 degrees here in Mississippi today, so I can't complain.
I know. I try not to complain too much anymore about the weather because I'm like, I live in Colorado. I guess I shouldn't complain like a whole lot. With where we're at and stuff like that. But at the same time, I was like, man, I could just deal without the snow right now. That's
at my age, bud, I don't complain, but my body does.
That's true too. That's true too. I mean, you're not lying. So talking about that's actually funny because I think we had talked about this, but about two weeks ago or so, I was playing softball and I took a ball right off the ankle. Man, it still hurts till this day right now. So I get it now because before I was like, oh well, maybe I can, I'll be fine. Give some ice on it, just let it be, do what I normally would do. And it's like it's going through this process of it's swollen to now it goes down, but now I'm gonna start bruising all over the place for you. It's gonna be uncomfortable at times. It's gonna hurt at times, and I'm like, man, and I'm like 2.5 weeks into this now, and it's still hurt. I'm like, man, it takes a whole lot longer to get better nowadays than it used to be.
I'll tell you what, bud. At my age, I'm due now for my life tune-up and rotation, and I just haven't got to it yet. So.
Oh, you better set up an appointment for that.
No, apparently there's a line and there's a pretty long waiting list, but I'm going to jump on that as soon as I can.
Well, once again, everybody, we appreciate you guys. We're glad to be back here for another week of Almost Mediocre Sports Guys. I hope you guys are enjoying what we're putting out here, guys. Obviously, we've taken away a few things that we've used to do and stuff on the show, but hopefully you guys have just been enjoying the content, things we've been doing. Like I said, like and subscribe, please do not forget about that. It helps us more than you guys think. But today we're going to kind of get into a little bit of everything. We're going to kind of talk about a few things here and there. We're also going to get into our top 10. If you guys forgot about what the top 10 was, it was basically our top songs when in the car that you hear it and you got to just crank it all the way up. So we're really looking forward to that. I'm kind of interested to see if anybody made their own list in the chat to let us know. Very interested for Mike and I to kind of go over our list because I think we're gonna be a lot different when it comes to this one. What do you think, Mike?
Oh, I think so, sir. I think so. But that's the great thing about it, though. Having different lists. I mean, that's the beauty of it. If everybody was the same, why would we bother?
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree with that for sure. But But first thing we were going to get into is the going on is the NFL draft, Mike. Obviously, Caleb Williams goes as the number one pick um, to the Chicago Bears. But some crazy things on top of this draft, right? 14 players were picked in this draft to start the draft, and they were all offensive players. When's the last time you seen something like that? Or there wasn't? Is there been the last time that that's ever happened?
No, and that's a pretty good point. But I personally, I don't personally, folks. I mean, if anybody's out there that can clarify on this, so Anthony and I know for sure. But for me personally, I don't recall this ever happening. But I kind of wonder too, though. I talking with you and your dad during the week or during the draft, actually that first round. I literally think in part, and not that the teams built around this reality, if you will, but I kind of wonder. I think it's curious that that takes place. If we look at the rules in the NFL right now and what's going on with defenses, now we've banished hip tackling. I mean, it's all a secondary player can do now to check anybody off the line of scrimmage. So really, what are defensive players doing? I mean, what can they physically do? You're challenging every single aspect of what they're out there for. So I kind of wonder too if, and not that you don't prioritize it. I mean, you don't want to pass up good defensive players, but I mean, it's an offensive driven league now. I'm sure you can get by on a, fairly, maybe say not an average defense, but slightly above average. Go ahead and load up on offense and just get out there and see what you got. Particularly with the rules now, with the way they're. So I fully believe, I honestly believe that that's a little bit of the concept involved in the thought process with how the draft played out. But there's a lot to be said for the, and again, we never know until it plays out what a guy's going to do. But there's a lot of offensive talent out there this year. Defense was a little bit on the back end of everything, so that could also play a part too. But I really do believe that the rule changes are slowly starting to affect at least small degrees of the thought process.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you, Mike. Like I said, I don't remember the last time this ever happened, and I think my dad was the one that pointed that out to us first about it going on. But if you also think about it, I mean, it's not like, I mean, maybe a few that we talked about here and there, but it's not like the draft was they were terrible offensive players taken, right? Obviously,
No,
we know what Caleb's possibly going to do. You know how I feel about Caleb Williams. We haven't really got into this. I don't know how you feel about him. Me personally, I don't think it was the right choice by the Bears. I don't like Caleb Williams' pick. I think they would have been better off with Fields than they do Caleb. Obviously, that we'll find that out. Jaden Daniels obviously was second. Drake May third. Those are the top three quarterbacks that went in this draft. Hard to say, right? I don't know. For me, I would obviously say Jaden's probably a better choice for me. If I'm thinking quarterback, I'm thinking I'm probably going maybe Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams in this draft. I don't know what I'm saying, but what I would basically trying to get to is just that the players aren't terrible that were taken. So it's not like it's a like it's not like they're just saying, well, we don't want any defensive players. There wasn't great defensive players in this because obviously Dallas Turner um, was obviously a great pickup for Minnesota. I think that was tremendous. I think Minnesota really did well
they may
to
have.
start the draft
Yeah,
for sure. But but to have 14 players go like that, it's all offense. It's so crazy to see. But like I said, I kind of wanted to get your take on the three quarterbacks that we're taking and how you feel also on Caleb too.
yeah. I mean, you and I talked about this even going back to last season, probably even possibly the season before that with Caleb. I tend to agree with you, but I know a lot of people are making him out to be possibly this generational first round draft pick going to Chicago and just be this this world beater.
Yeah,
Here's the thing I'll say about that. Now, if we're basing it just on his talent level, there's talent there obviously, but I agree with you. But I don't believe Caleb is just drop him in there, give him a year or two, and you're ready for the Super Bowl. Singularly by himself, sort of so to speak.
yeah,
I think what Chicago. The caveat to this is that I think Chicago is interestingly to me, they're building a little foundation here around this guy with the receiving core, especially. This could actually be a very interesting football team beginning this season. If Caleb begins to show signs of development, if they throw him out there and just say, "Hey, let's just run with it," we know we're not going to the Super Bowl, we're not going to the playoffs. Let's just get him out there, get him some playing time, and let's just kind of see what we got. and just play it out, and let's see how he does. Obviously you could sit him, but I don't think they will. But I do think the surrounding talent that they're putting around him is going to be interesting to watch how this plays out. And I'm talking about through free agency and that type of thing. Chicago was active, and
So do you think that though, sorry, Mike, but
no,
um do you think that they don't think Keenan Allen's going to play very much longer? What's the reason? Because you just got Keenan Allen, you got DJ Moore, right, to help out with that. So why go after Roman Dunze when you got other players that you could possibly? I mean, at that point in time, like we were just talking about, defensive wise, and for them, Turner was still there. Latua from UCLA, he was there still as an edge rusher. So Byron Murphy was there from Texas. Why not take a defensive player at that point,
see,
or at that point?
and again, but that's and this is, I'm not singling out Chicago here. I'm literally looking at a 32 team philosophy. Some more aggressive than others. I really do believe, Bud, that teams are looking at the idea that if we can put a team out there defensively that's, say, a B minus, B level from of the 11 guys we put out there, 11 starters, we can get an A group out there, A minus, A plus group out there, or an A group on offense. Let's go out there and let's just score points. This is what the league is building for. This is what the league wants. They want points.
Yeah.
This is what they want. This is what fans want. They want points. I agree with you, but for me, if you're going to build a team, build a team. Don't build one side of the ball. Eventually that catches up with you, particularly when you get to the playoffs. This, regardless of the philosophy, you better be playing solid football come playoff time, because if you're not, those deficiencies.
Well, go ask Dan Marino how he feels about only having one side of the ball.
That's a great.
That's why he never had a ring.
Yeah, that might be the greatest example of all time. I mean, seriously. I mean, you got the Duper brothers out there, the Marx brothers, I should say, and all this offensive talent. Yet you only got to one Super Bowl because your defense was always lacking in parts. So that's a great point, but with Chicago, I fully believe their philosophy is, let's build around this kid, let's give him the weapons. He's got talent, and let's just run with him. Let's see what we got here. I'm more infatuated with what's going on in Washington. I really think, I agree with you, but I think this kid is probably the best quarterback in this draft. I really do. And I'm not exactly sure. I don't know. I guess maybe Chicago just was so infatuated with Caleb that they just said, screw it. This is our guy. Nobody else is going to play like this. But I'm not so sure. I'm really not. In Washington, new coach, new ownership. There's a lot of enthusiasm. They're going to work to build around, not just the quarterback position, but I think offensively, I think they'll work to do some more defensively. I think Dallas, believe it or not, I think Dallas is on the downside. I really do. In Philadelphia, we'll kind of see what goes on there. But there's potential here for Washington, if they do everything right, to start making a little bit of, I'm not saying division champion folks or anything like that. I'm saying that there's a real upside to Washington right here with what we're seeing. And potentially 2-3 years down the road, if this team continues to develop across the board, this could be a team that's back in the playoffs and making some serious noise. So watch for Washington. And I love what Minnesota did, but I really do. Coming off of everything that happened, Cousins leaving, and just, you've got a receiver that's unhappy, looking at
it could change his mind after this draft. It could change his mind.
Because Jefferson was ready to bail. I mean, the contract was on the table, but that was with the expectation that, Kurt was coming back. So it's like, what are we doing here? So this might entice him to stay. And I tell you what, that was a nice little draft these guys had. So watch for teams like Chicago and not the Giants, but Minnesota and Chicago, to kind of see what goes on here and what Washington's doing. I am going to single out one team, and this is not, and the guy behind you would be, I think, personally so disgusted with what's going on. And I just really do. And I single out Denver because I really do believe, but this is a franchise, this is an ownership group that has lost all direction as to what they need to be doing to put a successful football product on the field. This has become an embarrassment. And I'm not so sure that Sean's really invested in this as a whole. I know that in looking at overall draft perception after day one, they were singled out as having the worst draft of that particular day. And granted, you're talking about one player, but still, that's what you're supposed to be building off of. And I get it. Maybe he does turn it, but I don't see Bo Nix as the guy. Oregon was built around that type of offense, so he wasn't going to be as accountable as he would have to be when he made the transition to the NFL. The NFL is going to be a different story. And I think we're going to see the fans in Denver are going to see that the packaging is a little prettier than what's inside the box. Now I could be wrong, but we'll see what happens. But the Broncos are a type of team. It's what is as great as what I see out of Chicago and Minnesota and potentially Washington and what they're doing moving forward. I think all we see out of Denver is a regression, and that's too bad if you look at the history of that franchise.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mike, for sure. The big question I have for you, and the reason I want to give you this question is because we both are fans of this guy. I mean, we're definitely his dad, but it's Marvin Harrison Jr. He got drafted by the Arizona Cardinals, which I know you have.
To say
I I know you have been, vocal about Kyler and him. And so, what kind of career do you think Marvin Harrison Jr. can have at Arizona, or what does he need to get out of there?
Arizona Cardinal fans, you have my sympathies. You have an all-world talent at receiver, and he's never going to see that potential because your quarterback, to quote a great philosopher, your quarterback absolutely sucks. You can say whatever you want about Kyler Murray, defend him all you want to. The stats prove it out. What he's done, or I should say, has not done in this league, and I'm putting aside the injuries. You can do whatever you want with it. But even if he hadn't been injured, there's no product there that's developed like it should have. I'm sorry, it's not. So you guys need to get over it. Your coach wasn't the sole issue with what was going on. Okay, your quarterback again is not an absolute failure, but I'd give him throughout his career right now, I'd grade him out probably as a C minus. He's too small. The running ability's there, but folks, your legs run out at some point. They just do. And if you don't have the talent to stay in the pocket, it's not going to work. And Kyler's not big enough. He's not, folks. It's not going to work. So Harrison, I tell you what, my advice to Harrison is play out your rookie contract, try to stay healthy, get the numbers you can, and then say, see ya. Look for a team that can absolutely take advantage of what you have to offer. And when you do that, I'm telling you what, bud, the kid will take off. He will absolutely. He is. This is all. I think this is a top five talent in the draft.
Yeah, I love him. I love Marvin Harrison Jr. I hope I hope he can find a way to have a really good career.
I mean, look,
I don't know what he can do with that Cardinals team. I'm with you about Kyler. I with you that he's not the best pick that they could have made in that for when they drafted him. Um, he hasn't become that guy yet. You know what I mean? And I don't know if he ever
he
will.
won't.
And it's not gonna help. It's not gonna help Marvin at all. To start his career, but hopefully, maybe that's what Kyler needs. Maybe he needs a wide receiver like Marvin to come in to maybe help him get better. I don't know what it is. I hope maybe it is because I want to see him succeed. That's the problem.
But see, here's the
Is
problem.
I knew that it was going to be when I seen where he was probably going to end up landing. I said, hopefully Kyler figures it out with him because I want him to have a successful career. But the thing is like I agree, like what you said. I don't know if he can with Kyler
Yeah,
having
because here's the
achieved that.
problem with that, bud. Is okay. So Harrison comes out of the blocks. He's looking good. He's getting balls. He's making yards. Eventually, defenses double up on him, take him out of the picture, and then Kyler's forced to go to his
Yeah,
other options, and he can't because it's not. He doesn't see. This is a problem, folks. You can do what you want with Harrison, but eventually, if he's that good, they'll double him up. They'll take him out of the play, and then your quarterback, your all world quarterback, or whatever context you want to put him in, is going to have to bail you out of these situations, and it won't happen. It can't happen because he doesn't have the talent for it. So my advice to Harrison: play out your rookie contract, say see ya, and hook up with a team that can absolutely take advantage of what you have to offer. And from there,
yeah,
the Hall of Fame career will really begin. I think this kid has that potential. Hall of Fame career.
definitely, for sure. Well, so moving on, Mike. I don't know if you heard about this or not, but Tyreek Hill
Oh,
was in
man.
an interview
No.
and he was talking about Prime when
Yeah.
he was playing, comparing himself to if they were to play against each other. He would score he scored two touchdowns for sure and about 179 yards he put on him. Now, for me, I think I think Tyreek's out of his damn mind. Okay, I think he's out of
No,
his
it's not
mind.
thinking, but
I'm
it
sorry.
is.
Obviously you've seen Prime a little bit more than I did, but I still seen him when he was good. From what I can remember, but you know that guy was a lock. I mean, you talk about shut down, lockdown corners. That was him. I mean, he could do everything, and
But
he was big enough. He could body you. I mean, he was strong. He was fast. I mean, I I'm sorry, and I get it. I'm not taking anything away from Tyreek. I'm not going to sit here and say that Tyreek's a bum and that he's not good enough. But the thing is, man, that he's a whole different ball. I mean, Tyreek's smaller than him. He's shorter. I mean, he's going to bump him off a lot and things like that. It, I'm
but
sorry, but you're not getting 179 yards on this guy and 2 touchdowns. It's not happening.
Dion is quite possibly one of the 10 greatest players in NFL history, regardless of position. This could be
That's
argued.
very true.
And I'm sure folks out there is like, oh, come on, Mike, let's not exaggerate. I'm just saying, folks, yes, it's perspective, but I personally believe Dion is one of the 10 greatest players, regardless of position in NFL history.
Oh yeah,
Here's,
I don't
here's,
know why you would argue
here's the
that.
other caveat to that whole thing. And I get it. I like to, well, okay, folks, personally, I'm not a Tyreek fan as a person. I think he's done some questionable things off the field that I have problems with. But if we're looking at just his offensive ability on the field, he's all world talent. But he's also playing in a time in the NFL where all the advantages are given to the offensive side of the ball. Can't hit the receivers, you can't touch them, you can't bump and touch them, you can't hip tackle. We're just talking about this. So all the advantages go to the
Exactly.
offensive side of the ball. Tyreek, I'm sorry, you need to pull the shoe out of your mouth and put it back in or something because you're embarrassing yourself with that statement. Because if we put you in a throwback situation and drop back in Dion's prime, no pun intended, you may not get shut down, but you're not getting the yardage and the touchdowns you're talking about. It's not happening because first of all, your statements challenge Dion personally, and I'm telling you, folks, Anthony, like he said, he didn't see Dion play at his prime. I did. His dad did. Deion Sanders took everything seriously. Of all the antics and everything that he did on the field and off the field, when it came time to play, this guy was locked in and ready to go because you were his challenge. And he focused on that challenge. And if Tyreke thinks that if a guy's going around making comments like that he's not going to come out and answer the bell, yes, he is. Deion would have shut this dude down. He would have gone out of his way to shut.
Prime was playing with the at the same time frame that the greatest wide receiver ever was playing.
Yeah.
Jerry Rice. He's playing at the same time frame and he's going up against this guy one on one each time. Now I don't know what the numbers are against each other. That's something that maybe I could look up or try to figure out, or somebody let us know if you guys know. But I would say, watching the two, they may have got each other about half and half each. And that's great for the both of them, like in both senses, right? Because you're talking about Dion, who could probably be one of the best cornerbacks ever. Talking about Jerry, who was the best wide receiver ever. Like, to be able to go 50-50 against those guys, and that's probably really good. And I could honestly say that's probably how it is. So, yeah, I don't see Tyreek. I don't see where he would think he's gonna put up 2 touchdowns or anything. I would give Tyreek maybe I'd give him like maybe 4 for 65, 70 maybe. I'd give him that. Because there's going to be times, I mean, he's elusive. That's the thing about Tyreek, is he gets elusive where you can maybe catch him on a certain play and he might break one or something. That's why it's got to be 4 catches and it's going to be a little bit more yards. Like, he's going to use his speed. He's got to find a way. But I mean, that's still good even if you can do that against Prime. But I'm not. But the numbers he's talking about is insane. And that's kind of. I was just like.
And
thinking to
Tyreek's
myself,
also,
man.
here's the thing, but Tyreek's also, he's offering up the ideal situation. He's talking about, I'll go play Dion in 75-degree weather, no wind, dry field.
That's true
Come on,
too.
Tyreek.
Yeah.
Let's get you out there where Dion knows how to play in all types of weather. Let's get you out there when we've seen how you play in below freezing weather. You're not very good, are you? So that kind of speaks to you and your inability to suck it up and get out there and play like you need to. You don't necessarily balling out when it's
Yeah.
bad weather. Dion's been out there and he's balled out when it's necessary in good weather, bad weather. He's faced the best. He's handled the best. He's shut down the best. And Tyreek, I get it. You potentially are a future Hall of Famer. But in my book, you're not even top 10 receivers all the time, bud. So I put the clamps down on those statements. Maybe
There
if
you
you play
go.
another 5 years and you put up some serious numbers, maybe. But right now, dude, come on. You're not even top 10 all time. I mean, let's
There we
let's put the
go.
brakes. Let's put the brakes on this.
Drop the mic. Just
Yeah,
drop the
pretty
mic, Mike.
much. On your foot,
Drop
probably,
the mic,
Tyreek.
Mike. All right. Well, so I mean, we got so tonight, Mike. We got some more NBA action, huh? So right now we got the Lakers Nuggets going on right now. Looks like Lakers up 19-14 right now. About 4.5 minutes left in the first quarter. But man, I kind of wanted to bring up this Magic's Cavaliers series. I don't know if you paid attention a little bit more to this one, but both teams, when they got to their home courts, have just really taken over home court advantage. Magic's won today 112-89, and both these teams are beating each other pretty good at home when they're playing against each other. But it's a pretty even matchup. So it's kind of wondering who's going to come out on top in this one.
Well, I'll tell you what. Here's the thing. We've talked about this before in past seasons, and you know where I kind of stand on this. If you want to show me what you've got, then go win on the road. It amazes me, folks, and Anthony and I have talked about this over the years along with his dad. This is what amazes me, folks. And I extend beyond the 5 guys that step on the court to start the game. I'm talking about if they run, let's say, 10 deep, 2 guys still sitting on the bench, maybe they run 11 deep. So you get 11 guys out there periodically throughout the game, right? You're telling me, you explain to me why the same 11 guys who win one night by 30, 2 nights later on the opposing court lose by 30. This has nothing to do with bottom line talent. What it has to do with is your inability to ball up, sack up, and play like you're supposed to. You allow the crowd to get involved, and it totally takes you out of you're professional athletes. You're played to step up and win basketball games. And this is what amazes me. You can't do it. And this series is a classic example of a team or teams in this particular instance that literally, at least at this point, show the inability to go on the other team's court and win a basketball game. So if this continues to play out, all this tells me is that either one of these teams, you're potentially probably not going to advance past the second round because it obviously gets more difficult. So you better start learning how to win road games. It's not going to happen. You want to know how important that is? Ask the Miami Heat last year how important it was, because look how far it took them. Because they could win on the road. A lot of these teams can.
Yeah.
I mean, the teams like the Sixers and stuff like that. We saw what happened in the Sixers series. They're getting beat up, playing on the road. They go home, and Embiid goes nuts. They win the game. See, we're right back to the court thing. So the Nuggets-Lakers series is a good example. And put aside the fact that this is the defending world champions. I'm talking about the fact that the Nuggets are down in these games, each of these games, these first 3 games, they have trailed. Yeah, and in last game, down by 20, everything says lose.
That's kind of what I was going to transfer into on this one, because like I'm saying, I'm glad you brought exactly what you brought up, Mike, because that's what I was getting into with talking about this, because like I said, both teams have gotten beat pretty bad on the road.
Yeah.
Then you're talking about like a team like the Nuggets, game 3, down by 20, Denver goes into complete defensive mode, makes their way back, wins the game, Jamal Murray last second shot. You're right, Denver has been down a little bit more often against the Lakers so far in this series, but they find a way to get through it. Now, I don't know. Is this just a Lakers problem?
It is.
Or are they not playing enough defense? Are they getting too old? Is this team is this the end of the Lakers? What are we seeing here? And what do the Nuggets have to look forward to moving on?
Well, here's the other caveat to that, but is regardless of talent, right? Top to bottom in your roster. Here's my thing, folks. I don't care, what the talent level is per se. And this is, and I get what people would say, oh, come on, Mike, top 5 against their top 5. I get it. I'm talking about the fact you're in a playoff game, you're down 20 points, or you're up 20 points. It doesn't matter. If you're up 20 points, finish the job. There's no reason. You're 5 guys or 6 or 7 guys, if you went 2 deep on the bench or 3 deep, you established a 20-point lead. You need to finish out, ball out, and put the exclamation point on the outcome of the game. It's not sheer talent. It's because you begin to panic and you begin to question what you're doing. And we saw this, and ironically, Mr. GOAT of all time out there during that last third game making poor decisions. And he's been called out on this after the game by many sources. So guess what, folks? Mr. Greatest of all time is actually making mistakes that you weren't expecting to make. But here we go. But the bottom line here is you got 7 guys, 8 guys deep, whatever. I'm talking 5 starters, 3 bench. You got a 20-point lead and you can't defend it? That's inexcusable. I don't care who it is. Finish the job. So the Lakers, in fact, yes, you're being beaten by a better basketball team at the end of the day. But you've established leads in each of these games. Even in Denver, they had leads.
Yeah,
and you can't finish the job, and you have a chance to at least potentially either take, game two into overtime or win it outright, and you let Murray hit that shot, you got to be up on him. You got to, and I get it, things happen, but you got to be on that. Then these are the
Well,
failures of the team. It's not the coach. That's the
yeah,
team out there not executing, not the
I
coach.
agree. Well, and the other thing is too. I mean, you got to sit here and think. I mean, I the Lakers put together this team thinking that it was going to be better. But if you really look at it, I mean, D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves, they play no
Yeah,
defense at
and
all.
the killer
Those
on the
guys do
offensive
not
side
play
too is
any defense. And
absolutely awful.
when you got two guys on the court, I mean, there's a difference, right? Usually, sometimes you'll get some shooter on your team where you can hide him out there. With four guys, you can hide a guy on defense, put him on somebody that doesn't necessarily matter, something like that, right? But when you got two guys out there on the court that can't play defense, that's a problem. And when they're both your guards, that's a real big problem because then you can't stop anything up front, and you're leaving your guys behind you, left stranded, and you can't do that with this Nuggets team. I'm sorry, but the Nuggets proved that last game. I mean, I believe three of our starters had a double double in that game. I think it was Jokic, Porter, and
Yeah.
Gordon. Gordon had a
Oh
tremendous
yeah,
game.
beautiful game.
When Malone made the switch to Gordon on AD, that's when AD just stopped playing. He just couldn't do anything against him. Tremendous job. And you don't hear me talk too much about obviously Malone. You know how I felt about him, things like that. I don't know, Mike. Something about this team, it's starting to grow on me more. There's something more about this
Oh
team that
no.
keeps growing and growing on me even more because we've had these discussions about the Nuggets teams in the past, Nuggets teams, things like that. They're growing on me more. Some of the players are growing on me more. I mean, I'm more of a fan of Gordon than I once used to be. Um, I like what they're doing, but I've said this still, and I think something I can still see the Nuggets winning it all. I'm not sitting here saying I'm not, but the one key piece I can see that would make a difference and where this Nuggets team would be untouchable is Bruce Brown. If Bruce Brown was on this team still right now and didn't leave, I believe the Nuggets would be unstoppable still through the West, and they would win back to back.
I'll tell you what, I still think, and I hear your point, Bud, and I agree with you, but I do believe that the Nuggets right now, this is a seasoned basketball team. I really don't like the term; it's kind of cliched, but there is some truth in the term, seasoned. So you lose a guy like you're talking about, but essentially you're bringing back almost everybody. And granted, he was a key part of the team last year, and we were both wanting him to come back, and it would have been to their benefit to have him come back. But I think what we see in the Nuggets is, and as much as I can bash on the Lakers for blowing the lead, you also have to put out there that the Nuggets, being as seasoned as they are, and understanding what they need to do, and not panicking. Key word there, folks. Not
Yeah,
panicking. They understand what they need to do. So they just go about
exactly.
methodically doing it because they know how to work the comeback. So that's why you don't see the
For
fan.
sure.
So we're into all those things. So I agree with you, but I fully believe that the Nuggets can win everything. I really do. I'm not convinced of any of the other things I've seen with Oklahoma City. They're a good basketball team. I get it. Minnesota's got a great
Yeah,
defense, that type
I
of
think
thing.
Minnesota's the one team that definitely kind of worries me a little
Yeah,
bit.
I mean, you shouldn't be
Um,
worried.
Minnesota's got that height in there. They're a bigger team. I wonder how we can handle that. But
There's,
obviously, there's just some way about this team. That's why I said this team's growing on me a little bit more to the point where, for me, it's like, man, I don't really see a huge flaw. Like I said, Bruce Brown would be great on this team, but everybody still does really well on this team. They know their roles. They're real good at what they're doing. Obviously, they know the one thing I feel like the Nuggets figured out, and I see it better this year, is they have to understand more that hey, when things are not working out, it has to go through Jokic and Murray. They have to get us out of. They have to pull us out, basically. Before it was like Jokic was just trying to force things to all the players because he wanted to get everybody involved, right? That's just who he
yeah,
is. He wants to get. But it's like at some point, Jokic, I'm sorry, but you just have to maybe just take over. And he's learned that I think that it's like okay, now I realize maybe the triple doubles don't need to come as often. Maybe instead of me putting up 27 13 and 10. You know what I mean? Now I'm putting up 38 points, 40 points to win a game with less, like 10 rebounds and like 6 assists, where he lowers his stats a little bit because he realizes I got to take this over. I got to be the guy to do it. And that's I think what helps the Nuggets is when they feel like they can't get going, because like I said, that's what I see is the Nuggets, they try to shoot themselves out of slump, or try to have other players get involved, when it's like, just let your superstars go to work, let them get you out of the slump, and then you kind of piggyback off of them.
But also, like you said too, bud, you said this, I think, either before the series started or right after game one, that again, you guys, role players, regardless of who you defer to, whether it's Jokic or Murray, obviously to get you out of these spots, you've got to put out maximum effort. You've got to produce. I mean, at some point, these things will catch up because these guys literally cannot be on every night. They just can't. It's just reality, and that's not just with them. That's with any player in the league. Period. Your superstars just cannot be on point every single game. So those are those critical games where you've got to step up and at least give us a C plus B effort, that type of thing. By that I mean be efficient, get out there, get good shots, get open, play some D, that type of thing. But support your two main threats, and let's make sure you get the job done real quick. And not going into it greatly, as much as I'm impressed by what the Nuggets are doing with the comebacks, especially, I don't know what's going on in Milwaukee. um,
Yeah, they
this
lost
is
a overtime one to Indiana.
See, and this is a little troubling to me because you made this big deal, you made this big trade and that type of thing, and you get Lillard and you bring him in here, and I get it. This is a team that's a little bit up there in age and that type of thing, but I was expecting a little bit more out of this. And granted, they could correct it and get everything put back in place and start moving forward and get where they hope to be. But I'm a little bit concerned by what I'm seeing in this first round series out of the Bucks. That's I think that's something to watch because I'm not really sure
Yeah,
Indiana's that great, but
yeah, I'm with you, Mike. I don't understand. I mean, obviously, Giannis is out though, right? He's not playing,
No, that's
right?
critical. I get it. That's critical. But there were struggles even before he went. I mean, there's been struggles with this team throughout the season, and you kept thinking they were going to correct these issues. But I just don't know if that was maybe it was never going to fully work like they expected it to. And here
I
it's coming to fruition right now.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there either. I mean, I knew that them pulling in Lillard, um, I feel like that was a little bit of a stretch for them, but obviously it gave Lillard a chance to try to do what he's trying to do, right? He's trying to get a ring. That's basically what he's trying to do to end his career. Get himself a ring. Milwaukee was probably one of the best chances he has, as far as probably where they were looking to send him and
Yeah.
places to go, things like that. But I mean, to be honest with you, when I look at these teams, I mean, Indiana is one of those teams that they're on the up and coming, right?
No, yeah, I give you that.
So the thing is I mean, I think we get it because we hear, we think, right? We hear Giannis and Lillard. You're talking about two prime players,
Hall of
top
Famers, Hall
tier
of Famers.
players, and they're exactly Hall of Famers for sure, going against this Indiana team. But when you look at this team, you got Tyrese
Yeah.
Halliburton, you got Siakam, you got Turner. Like it's a good team. This is a really good team, like all around. So it, I don't want to sit here and say that maybe Indiana's is better than them, but they're obviously proving in a way that they are.
No, they deserve to be
They're
in
up
it.
two
Yeah,
one.
no,
So
exactly.
so I mean, honestly, they got to figure out, they got to get Giannis healthy. He's got to get back in here. I honestly think that if Giannis does not get back into this series, I don't know the extent of his injury myself. I don't know for sure if he's able to come back, but I have a feeling if he does not come back, I don't think they beat
No, they
Indiana
won't.
in this series, and I think they're going
Yeah,
home
they
after
will, they
round one.
will. And the last thing I'll say real quick to all the Phoenix Sun fans out there, it was a good thought to bring all these guys together, but you're now facing reality. The team as it's constructed now in Phoenix, they're not going anywhere, folks. If you're a Phoenix Suns fan,
Yeah.
that's your reality. Durant's getting older. The whole team is getting older. Even Booker. I mean, he's got a lot of years left if he stays healthy. But here's your reality, folks. You're seeing it in this series. They're just not the better basketball team. Even if they were healthy, I mean, across the board, everything, they're just not the better team. And you're seeing that right now. And they probably go back and win a game. I'm not sure. I know it was 2-0. I don't know if it's 2-1, or I don't know if they lost today or what the deal is. Um, but Phoenix, just there's changes that need to be made, folks. So hope they do. Maybe Durant stays, maybe he doesn't. We'll see, but as it's constructed right now, Phoenix isn't going anywhere, folks.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Mike. Well, guys, we are going to be right back. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with fun little new thing that we're gonna kind of throw out to you guys. So stick around, and we'll let you know what it is right after. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're gonna try a new little segment here with you guys, where we're gonna try to stump the sports guy. We're gonna have a few trivia questions here for Mike, and see what we got going on.
I thought you
You
said
ready for this,
stump
Mike?
the sports guy. Where's he at?
Well, that would be you.
Oh,
You're
really?
supposed to be the
Oh,
sports
crap.
guy. That's what we are. We're the mediocre sports guys, Mike. That's what we're doing
Oh,
here.
well, I actually thought I was kind of
Are
low.
you forgetting again? Are you forgetting stuff again?
Well, that's daily, but I mean, that's a good
All
day.
right.
A
Well,
good day
let's.
is if I find my way home from work. You kidding me?
Oh, wait, hey, I know what you mean. Hey, I get it. It's a good thing we have these devices
Well,
in our
all I'll
hands all the
say,
time. That can just lead me straight to it if I put the address in, right?
all I'll say is I hope this quiz is like on an elementary level here. This is where I'm at.
I think so. Well, let's start
Okay.
this one off, right, Mike? Which NBA coach has the most career wins?
Do I get options, or am I just supposed to guess this?
You gotta just
Oh
guess
my
it. Just
goodness!
kind of
Most
guess it.
career wins, coaches.
Yep.
Uh, oh crap. Steve Kerr.
We'll allow. We'll allow. Let's hold on. We'll allow two
Oh wait.
guesses before it's an incorrect.
Uh,
Two guesses. So we won't consider that unless you want that to be one
No,
of your
no, no.
answers. But you'll get two
I'm
guesses.
going to say Jerry Sloan.
It is not Jerry Sloan.
Okay. And I get how many guesses?
Two. So you get one more.
Wow, I wish I had a lifeline. um. Oh crap. I mean, I can't believe that would be the case. Just can't be. Not with what. Oh wow, bud. Let me think just real quick. Pat Riley?
It is not. The answer is Don Nelson.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I mean, I liked him as a coach. I mean, I didn't think he was like a legendary coach, but I thought he was okay.
Yeah. He did pretty well with that for sure. So here's the next one. Which player has the most career assists in the NBA history?
Assists in the entire league. John Stockton.
Yes, there you go. See, it's not that bad. That one's not that
Well,
bad.
now wait a minute, because I got to pause for a second to take some aspirin because that was stressful.
All right, next question. Who is the oldest player to score 60 points in an NBA game?
60 points in the NBA game. Oldest player.
Oldest player.
Oldest player. 60 points. Kobe Bryant.
Yes, sir. That's a good one. There you go. There you go. Next question.
If you look real close,
Who?
folks, this right here is the vein that's starting to swell.
Who was the shortest player ever to play in the NBA?
Muggsy Bogues.
Yes. And do you know what his first name was?
Actually, I don't.
You don't know.
I don't.
Tyrone Muggsy
I did not know
Bogues.
that. I did not know that.
You did not know? Wow.
I probably heard it, but I literally, the only thing I became familiar with was Muggsy. Actually, that's kind
Yep,
of a
exactly.
cool name.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I almost said Spud Webb, but then I thought, wait a minute, because I know Muggsy he was a tiny guy too.
Who was the first player to be drafted directly from high school into the NBA?
I'm gonna say Moses Malone.
You know what? I believe, aren't you right? You were right. I think they have the wrong answer on this because I was just thinking that too. Because they have Kevin Garnett,
They said the youngest.
but yeah.
Well, it's possible.
Well, wait a minute. Wait, what's the actual? Who was the first player to be drafted directly into high school into the NBA?
I mean, I thought it was Moses Malone.
You know what? Let's
I mean, I
see.
get
Let's take a look.
Garnett, and I thought about that, but I think I thought anyway, I had read it one.
Well, you know what? Is it because though wasn't Moses drafted into the ABA though?
Oh, maybe he was. That's a good point, but that I can't speak on. That's a good point.
That's probably why. I bet you any money.
That's highly possible.
Because he was drafted. Yeah, because he was with the Utah Stars.
Okay.
So that is right, probably then. So yeah, it's Kevin Garnett. Interesting. We almost got that one wrong. We almost were gonna mess that one up. But you're right. That actually is really good though, because I thought the same thing. All right, last question here. Who is the only player to have won an NBA championship, an NCAA championship, and an Olympic gold medal in the same year?
Michael Jordan.
Absolutely right. You have to finish on the go, right? You got to finish trivia just on the go.
Yeah, well, I would have said LeBron, but he didn't go to college. So I mean, I wanted automatically to go to the GOAT, but I thought, well, let me pick Mike. I mean, he's had a pretty good career too. Not as good, folks, I know, but hey, a championship in college, Olympics, finals. I mean, I know it sucks, but for all you joke fans out there, I don't know what to tell you.
Oh man. Well, that was good, Mike. Good. Hey, you did really well. You
That's
did really, really well. You should be proud of yourself. I thought that was really, really good. So everybody, make sure W's in the chat for Mike here. Exactly, he did well. He
well,
did well. I
hey,
think he only got
folks,
one wrong so
if
far.
I'm not here next week, it could be because I'm in intensive care unit. That was pretty stressful.
Stressing out over it. All right, guys. Well, moving on. You know what time it is. We are going to get ready for our top. All right, like I said, guys, it is top 10 time for us. And today we are going over, what is it, Mike? Our top 10. What do we call it? Did we even come up with a name for it? I call it bangers. That's what I call it. I like to call it the banger
drive
song.
time bangers. I like that.
There you
When you
go.
are driving,
I like that.
nothing better than
It's
putting on.
just you're just driving down the road. The song pops on, but on whatever you're listening to, whether it be the radio, whether it be you got your Spotify
Couple of
going
those,
or
couple of
your
those
Apple
songs.
Music, whatever you're doing,
Yeah,
and you just turn it up and you just gotta let it go.
yeah. Some of
Right?
those
That's what we're
songs,
working
some of
on.
those songs just make your foot want to press a little bit harder on the accelerator. But only if there aren't any police officers around, folks. Let's be good here. Let's be good.
Exactly, exactly. Well, this was a crazy list to make, Mike. I'm not even gonna lie. So for me, doing this list, I'm a huge. So guys, just so you guys know, for me, like my background on music, I mean, I pretty much listen to everything. I mean,
Classical too.
I got genres. I mean, I got genres for. I mean, yeah, I'll put on some Mozart if I have to, or Flight of the Bumblebee maybe by Rimsky-Korsakov if I need to. You know what I mean? So
You imagine driving down the road and you're like your head banging to Mozart.
hey, why not?
I
It's
yeah.
my car, my rules.
Oh
But no,
man.
guys. So like I said, for me, I love all types of music. I mean, I do country, rap, old school. I mean,
Yeah.
the list goes on. So my list is definitely. I tried to mix in a little. So it's not like a top 10. Like all time. I mean, this is some of these songs are from like right now. Some are old school stuff. Like I try to mix in a bunch of different types of genres into my list. So that's why it's a little bit different than what you may think. But this was fun to do. It was hard to do 10 though,
It
man.
was one or
I just
two,
wanted
yeah.
to do so many lists, for these. But couple of honorable mentions that I wanted to mention, Mike. And don't worry, because obviously I'm not. There's not going to be any of my honorable mentions that are on your list, so we're not giving anything away or anything. But one of them I had was "Who I Am." What's My Name by Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
That was one that definitely was just close to making my list, but just didn't have enough room for it. And then "Should I Say Yes" by New Shoes
Mm,
is another one that I had as honorable mention.
that's a throwback.
I really like that song. It's funny because obviously New Shoes. A lot of people when they talk about New Shoes, they kind of the main song everybody knows is "I Can't Wait," right? That's
I
the
have that
main
on my
one for
phone
it. But
playlist.
for yeah, but for me, "Should I Say Yes" was a
That's a
great
good
song,
song.
and
It's a
I
good
love it
song.
a lot. Yeah, yeah, I love
I
it for
love
sure. And the other
shoes.
one is because I only have three of them. The other one was "Thank God" by Kane Brown and his wife Caitlin Brown.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've heard that song before, but that's a tremendous song
Yeah.
for sure. And man, I wish I could have put that one on the list. But like I said, as we go through the list, I'll kind of explain a little more as to why these songs are on the list, things like that too. But we're gonna get going right into here, Mike. So you go ahead and start us off with your first one.
Yeah, folks. So kind of like we were talking about last week with the cars, I drift back to a lot of it's the old throwback type stuff, and obviously some things like Anthony's talking about the songs that we grew up with. But I'm always into that throwback feel of things, cars, music, even some movies. I kind of get that going old school, so to speak, as I say with some of my selections. But my top 10. Legendary guitarist, legendary performer, Mr. Chuck Berry, and a song called "No Particular Place to Go." Now, when it came out back in the '50s, it was just one of those songs that when you put it on the radio, or you put it on the radio, it just come on the radio back then. But and even for me, growing up, when I heard it for the first time, just the guitar instrumentals and the way the song started and just the solo instrumentals on the song itself with Chuck. it just you know, if you're driving down the road and let's say you got the convertible, that type of thing, it's just one of those songs you just, maybe you don't hit the accelerator, but it just makes the ride so much better. You know, the music's kicking, the you can relate to the
Yeah.
lyrics, and it just makes you feel good, and you just want to rock, and you just want to have a good time and forget about things, and that's a lot of what this both these lists will be about. I gotta believe, I won't speak for Anthony, but as much as these songs are about enjoying the drive and just, you know, banging your head against the steering wheel or whatever,
Yeah.
just to go, it's just about songs that make you feel good. Him, myself,
Absolutely.
and Chuck Berry. And Chuck had a lot of songs. You know, I've got his top 20 on one of my CDs, but this one right here, just drop it on the radio, CD, and for me, you couldn't do much better. That's my top 10. That's my number 10.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I like Chuck Berry. I think that's a good one. Definitely start out with. I mean, he's very very good vocally. He's very good on the guitar, things like that too. So it's nice to always have those ones that can kind of do multiple things, right, rather than just
Uh,
one only. So, but definitely great
and
records for
I'm
sure.
fortunate to have a guitar, an exact replica of the guitar he played back in the 50s, autographed by Mr. Chuck Berry. So that's
Oh,
my
really
pride.
nice, nice. There you go. Nice for sure. No, that's a good one, Mike. I like the start to the list so far
Appreciate
for sure. For me, number 10 is "Float On" by the
it.
Floaters. Man, I really really like this song. So for me, obviously growing up, Mike, you know this. My mom, huge old school
Oh,
fan. I mean, she listened to old school all day long, right? And I mean, same thing with my dad. Same. I mean, he maybe wasn't old school as like his top of the chain, but like we get in the car together, right? And we're driving down the street. I mean, this is what we're listening to. It's old school music. And "Float On" was just one of those songs that I heard that was just cool, just a nice vibe to it. You could just you're just driving down the street, like you say on a Sunday night or something like that, and that song's just up, and you're listening to it the whole time, and it's a great song, fun to listen to. And like I said, it's more of the memories too, right? Being with your family, my mom brought us all into old school, and even till this day, I'm 34 years old, still talking about the Floaters and in a song called "Float On" to this day that my mom showed me as she grew up listening to and things like that. So that's one song for sure that I just love. It's a great one for sure.
yeah, great selection. But and just to sort of touch on your point, it's not necessarily, you know, when we talk about songs, it almost makes it sound like it's got to be that song that's just a headbanger, you know,
Yeah.
crank it up, you know, blow the speakers out type of thing. Not necessarily this true, folks. I mean, it's a song that, yeah, you crank the volume up a little bit, maybe a lot,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah. I still will with these ones. I will.
but they're not necessarily those, you know, blow the speakers out. They're just sometimes they're just these mellowed out
Oh
songs,
yeah.
but it's the lyrics.
The
It's
lyrics, exactly.
exactly,
That's what I
it's
was
the
gonna say.
music
The
attached
lyrics,
to
what it
it,
means,
everything.
the whole point. Because there's obviously other songs too. Like you think of things that have happened. There's a memory to that kind of stuff. Like I said, it was driving down with my parents in the car
Mhm.
with listening to the old school music. That's what we grew up on. That type of stuff too. But yeah, no, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, and then if we transition into my number 9 song, Bud, it's a song called "Born to Be Wild." Now, I know this is going back quite a ways, folks. Some of you won't be familiar with this song. I actually literally came across it for the first time in a movie, and apparently as a lot of people did, called Easy Rider, with Peter Fonda and Jack Nicholson, I think it was, or the teenagers. But you know, it was a biker movie. But they played this song called, you know, "Born to Be Wild," and it just fit the movie perfectly. But it's all about being on motorcycles and crossing the country. But you know, as much as it was about that type of thing, you're listening to it in the car, and it just had a classic feel to it. It's still, to me, one of my favorite songs. It just appeals to sometimes my mood. Again, it could be just driving down the road. I could be parked in the car and listening to it. It's just one of those songs that, you know, that I can relate to at any given time. And that was part of what I looked at with my list too, was I could just be sitting there and listening to a song, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But just a great song. If you get a chance, folks, the movie was good, like I said, Easy Rider. But "Born to Be Wild," if you listen to the song and the lyrics, I still think it's relatable today. And I just love it. So that's why it's my number 9.
Oh yeah, you'll still see this song, I'm
Yeah.
sure, in movies and hear it and all that type of stuff. So no, great song, Mike. It is one of those that gets going right away. It is one that, yeah, you can turn that song up and you're
Uh,
riding to it. You if you're into bikes, definitely a song for sure
And
that
again,
you
to your
listen
point,
to.
but
So
yeah, because when I saw the movie for the first time, I didn't know what it was about, but there was a song, and so anytime I hear the song, I associate it with that movie, and I like the movie.
yeah,
So again,
for
to your
sure,
memory thing, but I mean that's a big part of all of these.
definitely, I agree. Good one, Mike, for
Thanks.
sure. Good one. Moving on for me, for my number nine, Unchained Melody
Really
by the Righteous Brothers.
awesome,
Oh
tune, but
man,
awesome.
oh my God, man, this song, this I don't know if I've ever heard somebody sing a song just so pure and great than this song right here, ever. Like it is insane to listen to this song. It's like you're almost listening to just some sort of recording that has just been played with and just made into like the most perfect song ever. And when I say that, it's like the voices to the lyrics to the mean everything. It is a tremendous song. In like you said, tremendously what you said, Mike. It doesn't necessarily have to be the bass hitter, the head banger type. It's just what does the song sound like? How pure is it? Just how much do you enjoy it? Like it's one of those where like you can put a song on and enjoy it, but like maybe even halfway through the song you're switching it, right? I'm not changing it. I mean, this song's playing from start to finish, maybe even repeat it again, right? I mean,
And
that's
also,
not what I'm saying, but I love this song so much.
quite possibly one of the most re-recorded songs in the history of music.
Very true.
That
Yeah,
and I think Dolly Parton's "I Will Always Love You" are
yeah,
probably two of the most re-recorded songs in history. But Unchained Melody, there's a video on YouTube, folks, that you can go to, and it's just him singing the song. And this is literally, there's no lip syncing back then, folks. This was, if you're on stage,
yeah,
this is you singing. Literally, if you get a
definitely.
chance to upload this, go watch this video. He's just standing there, and you literally can't believe, like Anthony's talking about, that I think when it comes to singing, I think women sometimes have the more fluid voices than men do. But with this particular song, the male vocals just are so incredibly fluid with this. It's insane. And you can't
Yes,
even believe, I couldn't
absolutely.
even believe that a guy could hit notes like that.
Yeah,
It's like unbelievable. I mean, it's almost like, if you hit a note that high, you could never ever hope to have kids. I mean, after hitting that note. That's how much it impressed me, but it's just incredible.
I
But to see
agree.
that song
I'm with you,
performed
Mike.
live and sound just as good as it did on the album was phenomenal. Great
Definitely.
choice, bud. Fantastic.
Thank you for sure. Well, moving on. What is your number
All
eight?
right, folks. I don't know. We've never really talked about this much. Anthony knows this. He's known this since he was small. I can't have a list of something like this, particularly if it involves music that doesn't involve Elvis Presley. It's just this is we all have a person or persons that we've related to musically throughout our lives. Bud has his, but Elvis is mine. Now I'm not the guy you're going to come into the house and find, you know, Elvis velvet on the wall, that type of thing. It's just a very subtle appreciation, but it's always been there. I just love listening to Elvis Presley. But his song Jailhouse Rock, just from the intro,
Great song.
it pulls you in. It pulled me in, and
Yeah.
it's just got that beat. Elvis's lyrics, or the lyrics and Elvis's voice, just absolutely resonate with me every time I put this song on. And yes, when I put this song on, and I do this quite often, my foot does, tend to press a little bit, just a little bit more on the accelerator. Nothing bad, nothing bad. But it just gets that feel. You just want to rock for a few minutes. The video, the movie itself are just classics to me. But number eight with Jailhouse Rock for me is just one of those absolute, toe tappers, as they say back in the day. Love this song.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love the pick. Love the song. Obviously it Elvis is great. We like you said, Mike. I mean, Mike's not only a fan of Elvis, I am too. We all actually kind of are in a way, right? My dad's Elvis fan too.
Yeah.
So, um, I for me, man, you have Jailhouse Rock on here. I'm wondering. I didn't make. I know Elvis has made my list, but I'm wondering what would be my best. It might be Devil in Disguise.
Really?
That might be my
Good choice.
top
Good choice.
one. Like my turn it up, gotta go with Elvis. That might be my top
Good
one
choice. Good choice. I
for
like it,
him
bro.
for sure.
Yeah.
But no, I love this one. Jailhouse Rock's great. Obviously, all these turn into movies for him too. So I mean, it's great to see the movies with the songs. I
Yeah.
mean, it's terrific. So great pick, Mike, for
Appreciate it, sir.
sure. Great
Appreciate
pick.
it. Appreciate it.
Moving on for me, my next one, it's called Raw Thoughts 4 by Chris Webby. And Mike, I don't know if you remember this song. Um, we were when we were doing those lists every single day with the parents and stuff, and we were doing those music videos and sending them. I had sent you and my dad, and then this one, and it was basically the guy that was kind of going off. Basically, this whole song is basically has a lot to do with talking about the government and that what we're in right
Yeah.
now and how bad it is and just everything to COVID to just how bad and he goes to both sides, folks. So don't sit here and think that he gets one party or the other. And we're not going to really get into politics and all that stuff in here. That's not something we do or anything like that. We stay away from all that stuff, guys. But this song just kind of puts it out there that's everybody kind of thinks that the rich stay with the rich and the poor stay with the poor. This guy's a rapper. I'm sure he makes tons of money and stuff, but he's going for both ways, just talking about how just basically how crooked, how bad everything
Yeah.
is in the world right now. And an absolute great song. Now, honestly, folks, you've listened to this song. I mean, unless you allow your children for you know explicit lyrics, do not listen to this around your kids, though. That's for sure. But great song, great something to kind of think about. He just kind of like I said, he rips pretty much into everybody, but it's a really really good song. If anybody ever wants to kind
Yeah.
of take a listen to it.
Yeah, and that is a really good choice. But and again, back to the point of when we talk about the effect that songs have on us, certainly feel good. Sometimes if you're just in that melancholy mood and you just need that song to sort of enhance kind of what you're going through. But like Anthony's talking about, sometimes you get those I don't even necessarily say it's a political song. It's just a guy expressing his frustrations with where we're at. But we all go through that. Politics. I mean, it's just a number of things that we deal with, and songs sometimes help us relate with that, deal with it. And so I think whether they're on this list or not, I think we all, if we really look at the songs that we enjoy sometimes, I bet you each of us has a song kind of like what Anthony's talking about. It just
Yeah.
relates to certain things that you might be struggling with, you're irritated by. But I think we all have those. But it's just that's a great song, but a great song. Great choice too.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Well, moving on to you. We're looking at number 7.
Okay, folks, this is one of the great videos of all time. And I mean, it's sports related, it's music related. This is a song that I literally cannot. I don't know if you're familiar with Dire Straits. A lot of people probably are. Bud is. I know he is because I've sent him the video, so he knows what I'm talking about. There's a song called Walk of Life. The lyrics, they can speak to you in a number of ways, but it's the way they incorporate this song into the video with moments in sports. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of celebrating the ups and downs of sports, the good and the bad, and that's kind of what the song is about, really, too, to a degree.
Yeah.
But this song, and I'm not really a Dire Straits fan. I don't really like Money for Nothing, that type of thing. But I became familiar with him through MTV back in the day. But this particular song is one of those songs that absolutely I can be driving down the road, and the instant I hear it, even if I come across it, mid play, up goes the volume. You cannot help. I cannot help but tap the hand against the table, tap the foot against the floor, type of thing. It's just an absolute feel good song for me, and I love this song. And it just absolutely, if you incorporate into that particular thing with the NFL and the basketball scenes, man, they couldn't have done a better job with this. It's just one of my ultimate all-time feel-good songs. I love Walk of Life, and a great start to the song too. Great intro.
Oh yeah, it is a great one. You're talking about the video. I absolutely agree with you. I mean, obviously for me, uh, for you, you were the first one that showed me this
Really
song. That's who I heard this song from. This and that. So, um, but I absolutely love the song too. I agree with you. I think it's one of the best videos out there too, for sure. So it's a great choice on this one for sure, Mike.
appreciate it, sir.
Moving on for me, I have it's called "Without Me" by Halsey. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this
I'm
song.
familiar with Halsey. May not be with that song.
Okay, I mean, it's one of her bigger ones, that's for sure. On it, she's really really good at what she does.
She's talented.
But also this song, I mean, it's just one of those for all of us in here. Like everybody in the house loves it. The kids love it. I mean, you turn it on, and you're just jamming to it, right? And this is one of those songs where it's kind of it's more like if you're dealing with like a heartbreak type of stuff, and that it's kind of like one of those. So everybody has those too, right? And you have
Absolutely.
those like heartbreak songs or the love songs or the and this is one of those where it's like you're playing that loud, right? If you're having some sort of an issue or something like that, or that you're trying to move on to a better situation or things like that, you crank this song up, you listen to it, and you're like, you know what, it can be better, and it's a great song. She did great with it. She's tremendous. Halsey's definitely somebody that I've actually gotten to grow and more and like more. She's very very good at what she does. I like her a lot.
I was going to ask you real quick, but and great choice first and foremost. Have you ever thought how curious it is that, and we all do it, like you said, but isn't it kind of bizarre that we have these moments where we're down on life, it's a struggle, bad relationship, that
Yeah.
type of, but we pick these songs. You
Oh
think you
yeah.
picked a song that's like straight out of Sesame Street and that type of thing. But the sun is shining, the skies are blue, but we pick these
Oh,
songs.
that's why I said my genres and my stuff is just so different because I have
No,
songs for
but you're
everything.
not
There's
alone.
different types of stuff for it too. And the other thing is, a lot of people think, as guys, we should probably have more guys songs. There should be more like the gangster song for this, or whatever it may be, and more of the bass droppers. For me, I'm like, if it's a good song, you guys, it sounds good. You got a good beat to it. The lyrics are great. You're singing it well. I don't care what it. I don't care if it's a guy or a girl singing it. Like it's gonna be, it's a hit for me no matter what.
Yeah, but again, but I mean, but it's not just you. That's what I'm saying. I mean, we all have those songs. We've all had moments
We
where we're
do. Oh
depressed,
yeah,
but we pick a song that just makes it magnifies the depression.
I
Like,
agree. Yeah,
but in some weird way, like you're saying, but you can still relate to the lyrics, and so in its own bizarre way, it helps you to process what you're dealing with. It's still
absolutely,
therapeutic. So I get it.
for
We all
sure.
have those, but that's a great choice. Great choice. But I like her. I'm not familiar with that song, but I like her. I think she's
Yeah,
terrific. Good choice. But
definitely for sure. Appreciate it. Well, moving on then, we got you at number 6.
okay, folks, I know even Anthony knows this is one of the great instrumental intros to a song in the history of music, period. I think anyway. I'm pretty sure Bud does. Crazy Train with Ozzy and Randy Rhoads is one of the great intro songs of all time. I'm telling you, I'm not kidding you. My wife, just this past season with football, folks, we were sitting there watching a game, and she said, "Is it necessary for every single sporting event to play this song? Is it just? Can we not move on?"
I think they sign a contract that it has to be played. I think it is. I mean, you don't go to any sporting event and not almost hear this song.
You don't. It's
Anything.
impossible. But look how old this song is. See, that's the effect, folks. It's not just me and Anthony talking about a personal
But
effect. Look at.
but the other thing too, Mike, I'll tell you this, and this is actually funnier. So I don't. This song isn't just from going to sporting
Oh
events,
no.
though, right? This song for me originally started with what? The Rockies, and whose walk up song was this?
Oh yeah, that is true. That is true.
It was Larry
Yeah, that is
Walker's
true.
walk up song.
Yep, that is true.
And so that's where it first originated for me, was Larry Walker's walk up song.
That's a
Right?
great
What did it
point, but
start
I
off?
forgot all about that.
So for me, that's where the Crazy Train started. Was Larry Walker, the Rockies sitting there, and here comes Larry Walker. You're gonna hear it, all aboard,
Yeah,
and that,
and then it goes right into
and
that instrumental.
and the crowd's crazy
Yeah,
because this song's coming on, right? I mean, it's crowd's going. I don't care who you are. You could have been a young teenager, you could have been 95 years old sitting up there hearing Crazy Train, and you're going to town. Walker's coming up to bat, right?
yeah.
It's a great
And I
song.
always thought, and I never saw Ozzy in concert. I might have needed therapy if I'd have seen Ozzy in concert. I'm not sure. The stories I've
He's
heard,
he's different.
but that's a great way to put it. But I gotta believe to see that performed live would have been an experience in itself, in just like a mind blowing way. Randy Rhoads, we all know Randy Rhoads, some better than others, but I personally consider him to be one of the greatest guitarists in the history of rock music. Career cut short, obviously, but that's for
It's
another
pretty
time.
good.
But just the song as a whole, this is a song, folks, that you literally, if I'm driving down the road, this is the one that gets cranked.
Oh
The
yeah.
and the foot hits the pedal a little bit hard.
Oh
This is
yeah.
just that's one of those songs. And as we're progressing now, as we get closer to the top end of this list, I'm getting into songs that really I'm out there driving. I'm like, hopefully there's no police cars around because this might be a ticket type of thing. But
Absolutely.
Crazy Train, one of the greatest song intros ever. Love it. Listen to it all the way through whenever I hear it. Love it to death.
Great job. Love it, Mike. Absolutely love it.
Thanks.
That's a great one. Me, for my next one coming up here, number six is actually this actually is high on the list, but it's actually a newer song. The main reason it's on my list is because man, we play this a lot. It's called "I'm Good." It's Blue by David Guetta and BB Rexa.
Okay.
Um, this song is actually. Do you remember the song by the what was that the Eiffel 69 Boys, the Blue song?
I do remember that one, but I haven't heard this.
It's a remix to that song.
Okay.
It's basically but Mike, and you know me, I'm always the one that says original's the best. I usually stick. They outdid themselves on this song, Mike. If you get a chance, pull this song up
Okay.
and listen to it. They did tremendous with this. BB Rexa is definitely shooting her way up. David Guetta obviously is tremendous. DJ, and he's terrific at what he does. I said BB Rex is on her way up, but this song is great to remake it, and as good as they made it, I love it. But Mike, that's the other thing now. So, like you said, Mike, you would think, why aren't we putting on some of these Sesame Street songs or something like that? Same thing with my kids now. So my kids are getting older, especially my daughter, and she's getting into the songs that we may like and things like that too. So it's kind of cool because it's like, Dad, can you put on "I'm Good"? And we could ride around with windows down, cranking it up for her, and she's jamming just as much as she is with me. So that's the cool part about this song too, is the kids are starting to enjoy these songs too and having fun with them as
So
well.
with the cover, so to speak, but did they stick pretty close to the original concept, or did they tweak?
I mean, no. I mean, no. I mean, they stick to the most part, the beat, the everything towards it. But she throws her own riffs on it, and like I
Which is
said, you
what they
gotta
should
listen to
do.
it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And like I said, you listen to it. I think you'll agree that it's probably better. And how they did it together, amazing, absolutely amazing.
That's awesome, but and like you said, so again, this is the other aspect of it, folks. Anthony and I are talking about some songs that sort of resonate with us or resonated with us when we were young, and it carried forward
Yep.
with us. But here's the caveat to that. Now here's Anthony talking about and his wife is sharing either some songs they grew up with their kids and seeing their kids, embrace these songs for the first time. And that's a pretty cool deal when you see younger people take on, a liking for stuff that you grew up with,
Oh
see that you
yeah,
don't see that
definitely.
with all artists. Not all artists, transcend decades and that type of thing. But those are
Hmm.
the kind of moments like Anthony's talking about that you share with your kids, or a girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband, that type of thing. But that can make those songs even more special.
Definitely, for sure, for sure. All right, well, moving on. We're in the top five now, Mike. What is your number five?
So, folks, I mentioned this with Crazy Train in an intro to a song. So, the Beach Boys had a song back in the 60s. I'm a Beach Boys fan. I mean, not everything they do was just, over the top with me, but I like quite a bit of their stuff. But they had a song called Shut Down. And the Beach Boys had a lot of songs when they first started. It's all about drag racing. I mean, we're talking, get out there, your car against his car. Let's drag and see what happens. That kind of thing. People still street race. I mean, they do. They shut down highways to street race, so it never goes
Yeah,
away. Street racing never goes away. Fast and the Furious from one to part. What are they on now? 83, something like that.
something like that.
Yeah,
I think
because
you're
I
right.
think Ben is now 93 years old and still racing, but drag racing never goes out. I don't think it ever will. There's just a fascination with cars and racing. The Shutdown has one of the greatest intros musically. It just kicks from the get go, and it just goes from there and it doesn't stop. And it's just again one of those songs. Hit the knob on the system, turn it up as much as you can. It's a throwback song, but I tell you, put it on, you're driving down the road. I really think if you haven't heard it for the first time, you get a kick out of it. Simple lyrics. It's really, again, just about drag racing, that type of thing. Racing against this, racing against that. It's what it's supposed to be about.
Nice,
Good song, simple, love it to this day. Shut Down, folks, by the Beach Boys.
nice. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for myself, I'm not familiar with this song. Obviously I like the Beach Boys quite a bit. I mean, growing up, the way I kind of heard more about the Beach Boys. Obviously, my dad listened to it a little
Full
bit. I
House.
mean, he's not a huge Beach Boy, but Full House,
John
yeah,
Stamos.
that's exactly what it is. Yeah, because they were always on that show. Obviously, for me, my top Beach Boy song is Kokomo. That's gonna be my top
And who
one. I
was the
absolutely love
drummer on the
Kokomo.
video for Kokomo?
He was.
Yep.
Yep, that's exactly correct.
Yeah.
And I love that song. That song's great. But yeah, no, the Beach Boys are great. They're really really good. Obviously they were prime time back in their days for
Yeah.
sure. But no, great job,
And
Mike.
also, and
Absolutely
real
for
quick, but
sure.
you Kokomo, the last song that was a hit for the Beach Boys, so kind of ties everything together. So I'm talking about the
Yeah,
early years. Bud's talking about Kokomo, their last big hit. See how it all comes
exactly.
together.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Oh, moving on for me, I have a song called "Out the Mud" by Kevin Gates. This song is pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of got a little bit of everything. Obviously, it's got the bass to it. It's got, you know, good beat, good vibe to it, but also the wording. Basically, it's just him out of the mud, coming, working his way out. Basically, it's just talking about working. Working hard to get out of the mud, get your money, get all this and that. And some of us know what that's like, right?
Yep.
We feel like we can't get out, like we're buried. Correct?
Yep.
That's we are buried to our head up in bills or
Yep.
things like that.
Everything. Yep.
But the harder you work, the more you push yourself, the better you become, right? That's how you get it. You got to work. You got to work hard sometimes to get to where you need to be, and that's kind of what this song basically goes on about. Is we can't give in, and I know we're at a time right now too in this world where it's easy to try to give in, right now because things are getting more expensive and it's harder to make a living. That's for sure, but keep pushing, keep making it, keep fighting, and you'll get there. You'll get there eventually for
Yeah, and
sure.
again, but and I'm not familiar with that song, but again, to your point, a song that talks about things that you can relate to, and that we can all basically relate to right now is struggles with the economy and things like that, and not necessarily just a political song. It's just a guy speaking on the frustrations that we all have with everyday life. And
Oh yeah,
we find songs like this all the time, but sometimes some resonate with us more than others do. And I think those are important too, because whether it's getting you out of a depression or it's helping you deal with a frustration, songs have that ability to help us process, almost like a free therapy session sometimes, if you will. And we all need them.
yeah.
We all need them. I need
You're
several,
true. That's
but
true.
music helps me with a lot of those. So I mean, so to your point, but I mean, it's just those kind of songs that help. So like I said, I haven't heard it, but you're always top notch with your selection. So I trust it's a great one, and I know it is.
Nice. Appreciate it. Definitely. Moving on. You got what is your number four?
I tell you what, I love a lot of Bon Jovi songs. I really do. I loved them when they were first starting out, and I still go back and look at them. There's a video of them getting ready to perform Bad Medicine, and literally it's just inviting fans to sort of hang around the stage. They're getting set up. They're just going through a practice session. If you ever imagine what it might be like to want to be a rock star, I'd say watch the video for Bad Medicine, folks. If you ever wanted to know or have a song say, man, if that's what it's like to be a rock star, sign me up because that's what I want to do. That video blew me away. It's pretty much in black and white. Fans are filming some of it. Some professionals are filming it. It's a great video, just sort of like You Are There type of thing. But just the beat of Bad Medicine, the lyrics of Bad Medicine, you know, how can you not look at your basic hairband at any given time and say, "Man, I want to do that"? But Bon Jovi, man, they were like the epitome. They were the it. They were the top of the
Oh
mountain.
yeah.
Man,
Oh
Bon
yeah.
Jovi
Bad
is
Bad Medicine's
phenomenal.
probably my top Bon
Yep.
Jovi song for sure for me. That's definitely a great one. I love Bon Jovi. I love Bad Medicine. Like I said, number one song that he's ever done for me for sure. It's a great one.
Yeah, great rhythm, great beat, everything. It's
Oh
just top
yeah.
notch. I love that song.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good one, Mike, for sure. Moving on for me, I have a song called Are You Entertained? It's by Russ and also featuring Ed Sheeran in this one.
Really?
Yeah, so
Ed
this
Sheeran.
this song, man, this song, I'll tell you what. So basically the all this whole song Are You Entertained is basically people, are you entertained by us right now? What we're doing, we're coming up with a song together, and it kind of it's basically a song for your haters. That's the
Okay.
best way to put it, right? Are you entertained by me? I'm doing better. You're watching me type stuff, but that's what it is. Right? But on top of what the lyrics mean and all that, it's putting a rapper like Russ together with Ed Sheeran and saying, "Can you make this a song?" Absolutely blew this song away. These two together killed it on this song. Yeah, absolutely great. Another song, Mike, you ever heard? Pull it up, listen to it. I think you enjoy it. But on top of it, like I said, it goes back to the kids, right? This is one of the songs that my son first started, like when he started switching into listening to, not listening to, still like the ABC songs or anything like that, like we were talking about. When he's listening to the song, right, this is one of the first songs he just absolutely, I don't know how many times we had to play this song over and over.
No
How many times
kidding.
once he found it, and he still loves this song to this day. We'll put it on. He can point it out on YouTube to you, by which one he wants to listen to on it. But this song is absolutely amazing, and I came across it just on Spotify, just listening to it, and I pulled it up, listened to it. I was like, this song's actually pretty good, because I was like, man, Russ, Ed Sheeran. I don't know. This what kind of song are we gonna get here? And it's an upbeat song, so and that's not something Ed's always known for, but and obviously rap, but he killed it. Tremendous. Ed Sheeran, I have a lot more respect for both these guys, because Russ I wasn't too sure on at the time. Ed, I was kind of back and forth with him, but these two together making that song, absolutely love the two, and I will continue listening to both of them from here on out.
Two things about this, and I've always had this curious fascination with Sharon. He's not, and again, not everybody's going to look like Bon Jovi, that type of thing. You're not going to look like a rocker.
Oh yeah,
You're not necessarily going to look like a top rapper, that type of thing. You know what I'm talking about. I
yeah,
look at Ed Sheeran and I literally don't see musician. I just and a good, I mean a phenomenal talent. But I don't
yeah.
see
Oh,
if
he's
if
great.
if this dude is walking down the street and I don't know him, I don't I
Yeah,
bet that dude's a world famous, singer. You just don't
yeah.
see that. So
You don't.
more to his talent level. But my other point, again, back to what you experience with your kids. And it's got to be fascinating because again, folks, I don't have kids, but I know enough people that do, obviously, with Anthony and others. But it's kind of fascinating again. So you start to see what your kids begin to gravitate to, and obviously you hope they don't gravitate towards like the obscenity lyrics and things like that. Blah blah blah. But it's still kind of it's curious to see what their tastes are going to be. What are they fascinated by with music and things like that? And like you're talking about, you weren't even familiar with the song, and this is part how
Yeah,
you became familiar with it. So that's fascinating. But you kind of see your kids develop with their tastes and what
yeah,
they're what
exactly.
they seem like they might are they gonna
Well,
become
so
interested?
so that's why I said it's kind of funny. So the way my list went, right? I started off with Float On, and what was the memories? It was me growing up listening to a song with my parents,
Yep.
right? This and that, and then as I've gotten into the list more, it's my kids and myself now. We've come across those songs, so I'm hoping as they get older too, they can sit there and as these songs grow with them that are coming out, it's like they're showing their kids later on, man, these are the songs we used to listen to, back in the day when we were sitting in there with my parents and this and that, that kind of stuff. I hope it does move on to something like that.
Yeah, and I think it will, but again, it's memories for both sides, like you're talking about. You hope the kids look back on the moments they spent with you and Kayla, and the first time hearing
Yeah,
this or doing that. But again, vice versa. Mom and dad. Eventually grandpa. Looking back on things that they shared for the first time with their kids. I get it, bud. I get it.
absolutely,
Good
for sure. All
job.
right.
Good job.
Well, moving on. We are in our top three, Mike. So what is number three?
All right, folks. There's a group. Well, they're not together anymore. Hair bands. Hair bands are probably the top bang your head inside a car, drive down the road, anytime, anywhere. Maybe even heavy metal, I guess. Motley Crue is one of those for me. And if you watch, and I talked about Bon Jovi. I'm not sure you can watch a Motley Crue video and not think, man, to be a rock star has to be the craziest life in the entire world. And if you listen to the stories about these guys, it is the craziest life in the entire world. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
their stories are legendary. But this
Oh
video and
yeah.
this song, "Girls, Girls, Girls," is insane. I mean, it just embodies kind of what you would expect if you're a rock star. I mean, people throwing themselves at your feet. Everything is available to you. All these type of things. They ride motorcycles. I mean, they got these looks. It's everything you can imagine being. But the song itself just goes from the start. When you start off a song with the sound of motorcycles, coming down the road, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, folks. And for those of you out there who haven't heard Motley Crue, you're not familiar with this song, you got to load this up. But you've got to load up the video too. The song itself is great, but the way they did the video attached to the song is even better. It's one of the greatest songs I think I've heard. But for what we're talking about, if I have this on the radio, I'm probably 10 miles above the speed limit, maybe 15. For those minutes that that song is playing. Girls, Girls, Girls by Motley Crue, folks. You got to check it
Yeah,
out.
no, I agree. This is a really, really good song. Motley Crue's legendary group for sure. But Girls, Girls, Girls is obviously up there, right? I mean, this song is great. Like you said, Mike, nothing like starting it off with the motorcycles going, and you know that song's just gonna kind of go right. You hear that motorcycle flare up, hold on to your seat, right? It's gonna get crazy. So no, great choice, Mike. I like that one. I like Motley Crue a lot.
Yeah.
Good. They're a great group, legendary, like I said for
Yeah.
sure. Love it, love it. My number three. I don't think I have to say very much other than the name of the song in the group, Journey, Don't Stop Believing.
Oh, Bud. Great song.
I mean,
Great Steve.
still to this
Steve Perry.
day,
Steve Perry.
still to this day, I mean, at least I think still to this day. I haven't been out to a club in I don't know how long, but when I was out in the club before, when it's last call, it was like last song of the night. It's just all the drunk people sitting in there listening. Don't stop believing. Everybody knows the words, right? I don't think there's not a soul in like the U.S. that doesn't know the lyrics to "Don't Stop Believing."
I would agree with you. I would agree with you.
Oh my God, what a tremendous song, right? I mean, like I said, I don't think we really need to elaborate a lot on this song, but what a tremendous group. What a great song it is. I mean, like I said, to be that good of a song where everybody knows it. I mean, it doesn't matter that you're a rock group, right? You're a rock genre or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You put this song on, and more than likely, you put it in a party of 100 people, at least 90% of them know the words and lyrics to that whole song.
I agree, but I agree. And I will say this too. Steve Perry, lead vocals for the group.
Yeah.
To me, anyway, because he went on to have a solo career too, and he did fairly
Yeah.
well. But I'll say this about
Wasn't
Steve
bad.
Perry.
It was okay.
Steve Perry, one of the great vocalists of his time, and I still think to this day,
Absolutely.
I think across the board, male performers, male singers, one of the best vocalists I've ever heard, just bar none. Just
Well, that's why he was picked as one of those to do the We Are the World song, right? With the USA for Africa. That's why he was part of that. I mean, that's another song, folks. I don't want to get too off of our list or anything, but if anybody has never seen that USA for Africa and it's
we are the
We Are
world.
the World, um, pull it up on YouTube and like I said, Steve Perry's one of them on there, but there's
It's a who's who
probably
of performance.
there's what probably like 20 different artists that sing
At
on that
least.
maybe or less. Um, but I'm talking all kinds of different kinds of vocals, and Steve Perry, like Mike said, he deserved to be on there with the vocals that he had. Tremendous vocals, tremendous for him. But yeah, like I said, guys, I mean, I'm sure everybody on this list, they hear the song and they absolutely know what it is. And it's kind of one of those, like you said too, with like the Born to Be Wilds and things like that. You hear them everywhere,
Yep.
right? And they're out there. The Crazy Trains, they're still playing them at, you know, sporting events or whatever it may be. You hear the song all the time, and it's not going to go away anytime soon.
It speaks to the singer, it speaks to the group, whatever the case may be. The song itself, like you're talking about, Bud, they transcend time. And you got to believe if you're talking about a song that's 30, 40, 50 years old type of thing, and you're talking about, like you say, Bud, where you remember the lyrics, that type of thing, those are never going to go away. They're never going to go away because there'll always be somebody to pass it on to the next person, so to speak. There will always be somebody to fall in love with that type of song or that song. It will always be here. Somebody.
Definitely.
Great, great choice,
sure.
Bud. Phenomenal choice.
Appreciate it. Yeah, so moving on now. We are top two.
All right, folks, I'm going to go double dip, back to back double feature here. I'll tell you what, this song, now this is Crew, right? This song made me want to get in trouble. And I'm not just talking about driving sometimes. It almost kind of encourage, I'm not saying bad things, but I'm saying, maybe go puff a cigarette, take a couple more drinks than you probably should have, that type of thing. Kids, don't do any of these things, okay? Be good. Don't be like what we sometimes are talking about. But this song, Smoking in the Boys' Room, again, Crew has the ability to start their songs off, and when they do, they just grab you. And these lyrics, and it's not even their original song. This was a cover of a band back in the 70s, I believe, or 60s.
Oh, okay.
So it's a
Oh,
cover. This
really?
is a cover. I can't remember
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's a cover, but Crew did stick essentially to to basically the exact frame of the song. So they didn't step outside the box too much. But to your point, Bud, they took it to another level. I mean, they made it so much better than the original. But Smoking in the Boys Room, the video itself that they attached to the song, I thought was good. Not like Bon Jovi and what we were talking about, but still a very good video, and it made sense when you attach it to the lyrics. But Smoking in the Boys Room is just a great, great song. Again, it was a cover, but they took it up 2, 3 levels of greatness, so to speak. And this is a song,
Yeah.
again, I get in trouble if I'm driving down the road. This is one of those songs, see, and my wife sometimes tells me, she can hear me sometimes pulling up in the driveway. So how did you know I was here? I could hear the radio. I'm like, so I do, folks.
I know. I trust me. I used to get in trouble too back in the day. I mean, I had to have my system. That was my big thing. I needed a system, and I always had to have it with me. So I was like, man,
You think that's
sometimes I
a you
would
think
get myself in
you think
trouble.
that's a guy thing, or you think girls do that too? You think girls
No,
really
there's some girls. I no, I do know some girls that did do. They used to put systems in their cars too.
just you gotta hear that?
I think it's more of just like like how much you really enjoy music and how much you really enjoy that bass. Like if you really are into that bass and getting that bass out of the vehicles, then you're into that. That's what you go and get a system for. Like you want to hear that bass, you want to feel that bass.
Yeah, and sometimes it just gives
That's
it that little extra oomph. I mean, it's just you
yep.
can't
Oh
explain it. You
yeah,
can't. But yeah, Smoking in the Boys Room, folks. If you haven't heard it, you gotta check it out.
definitely love it, love it. Like I said, another Motley Crue one. It is definitely a good song, guys, for sure. Check it out. Definitely like that one, Mike, a lot. Moving on for me, my number two is Boys in the Hood, Easy E.
Oh my goodness, but excellent, excellent choice.
I love this song.
I could build off of
Absolutely
that
love
too,
this
just with
song.
NWA.
Oh man.
NWA was
Yeah.
that was one of my all-time. Surprisingly, folks, and Bud doesn't know this, but that was one of my go-to albums back in the day. I absolutely played the living life out of this thing. But I'm sorry, Bud, go ahead.
No, 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 no. Keep going
Oh
if
no,
you haven't
but
already
and I
gone. But
know we can't obviously touch on what the letters stand for, but but everybody back in the day, Bud will tell you, you knew or you still know they did a movie about them, here a few years ago. But NWA was just it at one point in time. They just they crossed over all. Not I won't obviously not touching on country, but if you liked rock or you liked country, here was NWA and they brought into this new sort of rap sound, so to speak. But it was hardcore. It was
yep.
really much more hardcore, along with a few other guys that around that time, Easy E was there obviously, and there were Too Short was there. It's not part of NWA, but these were the kind of guys that were laying down rap and stuff like that at the time. That was a little bit more aggressive. But man, boy, if you listen to it and you listen to the lyrics, boy, that was some crazy stuff, and
Oh
you
yeah.
could not.
Well, I mean,
It.
obviously, the Boys in the Hood song. It's basically all about the hood,
It's about
how
their
it is
lives
for them,
and
right?
growing up and
That's
what they
exactly what it
experienced.
is. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of opens up the eyes to the people that don't
Exactly.
live where they are, what they grew up with, what they see
Yep.
on an everyday basis, what they deal with on an everyday basis, right? Some of us don't live that life. We've never even seen it. We're not even close to seeing what some of these guys went through throughout their lives in some of these areas and
Yeah.
stuff like that, right?
You
It
never.
kind of just gives you that perspective, and the way that they do you have a little bit more respect for them, right? The way that they try to do it. I mean, I get the whole what they were trying to do with certain situations, but I mean, to get your point across with words and with music, that's the way to do it, right?
Yeah.
That's the
Sometimes.
way to try to do it.
Yeah, and they were getting hit hard with criticism because their lyrics were a little too explicit. But you know, you're
But sometimes curse words are necessary to get your point
yeah,
across.
whether it's through frustration or just to sort of amplify the frustrations and things that you had or were having.
Yeah.
And again, like Anthony was saying, here was these group of guys who were just literally just talking about what they dealt with growing up and what they were experiencing and what not just they were experiencing, but their friends were experiencing in a lot of other areas. But just one of the great albums of all time. And you see, I mean, the guys have all wound up for the most part. Easy obviously passed away from AIDS, but Snoop Dogg and Dre and all these guys. I mean, all went on to Cube. I mean, look at how successful these individuals have been and continue to be.
Oh, all three of those that you just
Exactly.
mentioned, Dre, Snoop, and Cube. Absolutely, yeah, they're top of the
And
game,
look at
man,
that.
for
They
sure.
show you, they showed you what you can overcome. They showed
Yeah,
you.
none of them are still living that life or
But
still
they
trying to.
worked, to achieve what they've achieved. But that's what they were
Absolutely,
showing you. Look what we dealt with, and look what we managed to overcome. A lot of respect to those guys and what they've accomplished.
I agree for sure, for
Great,
sure.
great choice, bud. Awesome,
Thank you. Yeah. So moving on, what is your number one, Mike?
folks. This song has been covered by a number of people and done very well. So I'm not singling out one group here because I've heard different versions. There's a song called "Radar Love," recorded back in the '60s. I think Bud's probably heard this. If he played it, if he doesn't think he's heard it, he probably has. It's one of the great intros, in the history of music. It's just a beat, and it just starts talking about driving down the road, uh, and speed and everything else. And this song, the very first time I heard this song, I was just absolutely fell in love with this song. And I've never forgotten this song. I have this song on my playlist, play it all the time. And it's one of those songs where when you play it or you hear it or it comes on the radio, foot hits the pedal, you're going a little bit faster, especially if you got a convertible. Man, does that amplify the beauty of the song. Just one of those songs, all about just getting out, hitting the accelerator, and let's go. And what a great beat, great sound. And like I said, a number of groups have recorded it, all done very well, which surprised me. But maybe it's a song you really can't fail with. I don't know. But Radar Love, if you haven't heard it, folks, download it, just listen to it. It's video it. Great song, great tune. My number one. Get out there and just hit the road.
Yeah, we can't remember or recall if I remember the song. I'm gonna have to pull it back up and listen to it because the name sounds familiar,
Hmm.
but then the group was kind of throwing me off. So I was like, maybe I have, maybe I hadn't heard the song. I'll pull it up again and
Yeah,
take a look
multiple
and
groups,
listen. Because
but
if it's the same song
yeah,
that
I
I'm
think it is.
thinking of, then yes, then it probably is pretty good.
Yeah,
Definitely for sure. I mean, obviously it's your number
it
one, so it
is. Oh,
probably is the one I'm thinking of. Because
oh, no,
I don't think you'd have it that high if it was just kind of somewhat
yeah,
okay.
and just a great name. I always thought, what a great name for a song. And if you listen to the song, it explains itself.
Yeah.
But Radar Love, it's a freaking awesome song.
Nice. No, great job, Mike. List was
Appreciate
tremendous.
it.
Love it. Number one for me is a song called "My Way" by Fetty Wap.
Oh, what?
Um, it's a I love this song. I mean, it's kind of funny. So the way I came across this song was I had just started playing softball with this team. I just got picked up by them, started playing with them more, and they had a barbecue one afternoon, and they're like, barbecue kind of ended up turning more into like a whole kind of party thing. Everybody just having fun, having drinks, hanging out, and then my friend that was on the team at the time, his name was Kenny. We called him KG because his name was Kenny Grady, but he started playing this song, and man, this song he put it on, and for the longest time, like this is the song we played when we went and played softball. The song was on. We just kept listening to it. I mean, in the car, whatever. We must have listened to that song about 10 times that night at the
Wow.
when we were all hanging out and stuff like that. Because he absolutely loved the song. He's the one that showed it to me. But still to this day, even though it's just this song comes on,
So what is
I
it about?
look for it
Is
when
it the
I'm
beat, the lyrics?
so basically, it's everything. So it's the beat to it, the lyrics to it. It's basically my way. He's telling the chick that who's with the dude that just doesn't care about her, or that he's not as good as him, or anything like that. Come my way,
Mhm.
come to
I think
me.
that's
I'll take care of all this types things like that. So, but a great song, love it. And like I said, it's the a lot of these songs. It's the memories. It's the stuff that pull you into it, right? You have something to do with it, like the other thing I didn't mention, like with Journey. Another thing why Journey's so big to me too is my dad. My dad loved Journey. I mean, my dad listened to Journey all the damn time. Things like that too. Boys in the Hood for me growing up, that was pretty much like the first explicit lyric song that was played that we listened to, growing up, things like that. And it was okay, even though, because, like I said, I feel like my parents are the same way. They felt like they were trying to get their point across. They were trying to figure out who they were, letting other people know what it was like doing that. Same thing with certain songs. It just has to do with not necessarily sometimes that it's
yeah.
one of the greatest songs ever. It's just what does it mean to you?
Yep.
How does it sound to you? What are the memories that bring it around you? Like I said, I could have maybe never heard this song, would have never mattered, right? And still till this day, I'll look for it on my and just to play it, to listen to it. It's not even has to come on. I'm looking for it. I'm searching for it, right?
Yep.
So that's kind of what it is for me. But yeah, some of these songs, it has to do with you know just the memories. That's kind of what makes it as good too. And then you just don't forget about the songs. You don't forget about them. That's the thing. Like looking at our lists, and especially mine, like just the ranges of it, right? To be able to say like I can listen to a song like "Float On" and then listen to "Boys in the Hood," and that song, like if it came one right after another, I wouldn't care. Like I would just listen to them straight through. Like all ten of these songs, they don't get changed
Yeah.
midway through or anything like that. You listen to them from start to finish or whatever. Or if you came in middle of the way, oh well, I'm playing the rest of the song out. That's what it is for these ones type stuff for
Yeah,
sure.
and that's a great point. But I mean, they're the songs that you don't turn off, because that's how much they resonate with you. Because there was something when you've heard it for the first time that just clicked with you, and just it's embedded in you. It's just part of you.
Exactly.
And those are the best
Yep.
songs because I mean, and again, like Anthony said, I mean, we could have had 20 songs or maybe even 30, I don't know, but you try to find the 10 that you feel like most impacted you, you know, and it's tough because there's so many that we all have because music affects all of us.
Oh yeah,
We
for
all
sure.
love music because of its impact on us and what it either reminds us of or how it makes us feel, that type of thing. And
Yep.
you need that. I hope I never, I joke about Alzheimer's and stuff like that. I hope I never reach a point where I can't remember things about life. And I'm not going to get all philosophical
Yeah.
here, folks. Not real quick. I'm just saying that with music and events, like Anthony's talked about, and with your parents and my dad and that type of thing, and obviously, when with like Anthony and his wife Kayla, and what you experience with your kids for the first time, particularly with music and things like that. I mean, your kids go away to school or they go and live their own lives, and yet you're sitting there, sitting in your house, you hear a song, and bam, Anthony's like, that's the song I listened to with Nolan that one night. See, those are the things
Yep.
that are so impactful that you don't realize it sometimes. And that's the beauty of music. And that's why I think these songs, like Anthony's talking about, when they do come on, you're not turning them off because that's the type of impact they left on you.
For sure. For sure. Definitely. I couldn't have said it better myself, Mike. For sure. And this was, like I said, hard list,
This was
hard
our
list to
best.
do because I'm
This is the
so
list I enjoyed the most, and I've enjoyed them all, folks. But this was the best list so far, and I love this.
yeah. It's because I love music. Like you said, Mike. It's one of those things where music just has so much of an effect on a lot of our lives. Sometimes things like that. And I'm the same way. I love music. I mean, I could listen to music, all day long. Literally. I mean, I love it. I mean, my Spotify has, thousands and thousands of
Isn't
songs
that
on it
incredible?
that I can go through.
You don't even realize
What's that?
sometimes how many you've got. Next thing you know, you got 2, 3 thousand songs, and you're like, how do you
Oh,
do
I think I was like in the. I don't know. I wonder if I could look on here and see if it tells me specifically. I'm sure maybe it does. Let's see. 3,300 songs right now on my Spotify. I have.
See, keyword there, right now. See, there will be
Yeah.
more added to it because music
Oh, I'm sure there will
used
be. And
every.
there's songs you forget about that sometimes you don't have on there,
Well, they haven't
and
come out yet.
sometimes they. What's that?
They haven't come out yet.
Oh yeah,
There's going
exactly.
to be
That's the
songs
other
that
thing.
affect you, me, your wife, my wife, your kids. I mean, that have not even come out yet. That's the incredible thing about music. It's ever changing,
Oh yeah.
but there's always going to be that next song that's going to impact.
Well, and the other thing is too. I mean, there's still songs on here. I mean, honestly, if we had enough time, guys, I mean, there would be. I could make a list of my top 100 of these songs that I could listen to. Probably. I mean, let's. I'm just being serious here. I mean, I could definitely do that. That's how much I love music that I could probably make a list of my top 100 songs that I just absolutely love like that, and that there's something to me with them. But because that's usually what Mike said, that's usually what it is, right? These songs mean something to you, and that's usually where they last
This is
longer.
the last thing I'll say about the beauty of music, folks. Anthony and I talk a lot of times about athletics and sports and things like that, and how they're changing, and how sometimes we really become. Anthony and I we're not really we're sometimes frustrated by what we say and how the guys conduct themselves, that type of thing. So they affect our perception of sports and our enjoyment of sports. Songs, music, really, it can't be changed. And by that I
Yeah.
mean it's what you remember it as being. So it still impacts you the same way because you associate a memory with it. And it's always going to be with you. And it's going to be what you took it as the first time you heard it for the most part. It's not affected by anything other than what your direct association with that song is. And that's the beauty of music. It's like Bud talks about. We got a list of 10, but he could have easily gone to 100. He's got over 3,000 songs on his playlist. 3,000. I mean, that's the beauty of music and how much it means to people and what it does to people, but in a positive way.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
Definitely.
my this is my favorite top 10 that we have ever done. It's a great job, a great job, great job, great.
Yeah, you too. Absolutely. This was fun. Another great episode, everybody. Obviously, love that you guys tuned in. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode today. We got some NFL talk in with the draft today. Was able to get a little bit of playoff talk in. I know. Let's see here real quick before we go. I'll try to see if I for some of you that have 84-72 Lakers up on the Nuggets. About 2 minutes left in the third right now. So still a close game, obviously.
It's always tough to
Um,
sweep.
yeah, that's for sure, especially against a team like the
Yes,
Lakers.
it happens.
They still are a strong team. I know we kind of were giving them a little bit of crap about it and some of the stuff that they do, but they still are a strong team. Obviously, AD and LeBron are there,
Oh, yeah.
right? I mean, you can't take those guys away. I mean, until they're retired and out of the league, they're obviously going to be fits that are going to give you. So,
Yeah.
not surprised if the Lakers do pull out this one. I mean, it's nice for them to finally get a win. Obviously, they've been searching for a win, right? What it's 0-9 recently, or is it 0-10 now? I
I
don't
think
know if
it's
it's 10 or 11. But if it's not 10 yet, I mean, getting to that double digit, right? You lose tonight, you go 0-10, you lose the series, you get swept. I mean, man, it plays a lot on your mind,
well,
man.
and real quick,
Going further.
I think if I heard correctly, this is the longest losing streak LeBron has ever had against any team, I
Oh
believe.
wow.
So that speaks to the Nuggets and their ability to counter whatever he's done with whichever team he's with. So props to that. But yeah, we'll see how it turns out.
Sounds good. Well, like I said, once again, guys, thank you for everything.
Sounds good.
Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Looks like next week we'll just kind of see what we got coming up for you guys as far as top 10.
Teaser,
We'll
teaser,
keep you
teaser.
guys posted for sure, for sure. But next week we'll kind of maybe get a little bit more into playoff talks. See if there's any more NFL stuff going on. It's still kind of a little bit slower now that we got the draft going in. Obviously, everybody's gonna get into their OTAs, things like that too. So we'll see if they have anything. Obviously, maybe a little bit of hockey playoffs. We're gonna start getting into more deeper into the playoffs now with hockey come next week, for sure, and maybe a little bit of baseball talk. But obviously, things happen throughout the week that we'll try to bring you know to you guys when we're on next week. So don't forget about us. Like I said, every Saturday we should be on 6:30 Mountain Standard Time for us. But like I said, once again, please, guys, if you enjoyed what you see in here, please like the video, hit that subscribe button. Like I said, hitting the like helps us more than you guys think. So, like I said, once again, appreciate you, Mike, what you done for us on the show. Amazing list today. Like I said, I love that this was your top one that we've done so far. I thought it was actually pretty fun,
Yeah.
myself too on this one. So, um, like once again, enjoy doing this. Looking forward to next week for sure.
Yeah, folks, and real quick, just touching a little bit on what Anthony said, real quick. And just real quick, is the things we maybe look to be covering here in the coming weeks. I know badminton's kicking into gear, so we might be looking at badminton. I know duck pin bowling is an Eastern thing, but we're looking to expand a little bit in our interest and coverage. So we might be looking at some duck pin bowling. So we're covering the bases here for you, folks. This is the wild world of mediocre here. We got it going for you. So we cover it all, and if we don't cover it all, we sure try. We might fail, but we're going to give it a shot anyway. But real quick, as always, I cannot end an episode, as you folks know, you know where I'm going with this, but trust me, trust me, trust me. I can't do this without acknowledging this individual next to me and all the effort and all the talent that he brings to each and every episode that you see. Without this gentleman, these episodes, and I'm not exaggerating, I know I say this, but I'm telling you, I'm not exaggerating. Without this gentleman right here, these episodes do not happen. They do not look as good. They do not sound as good because of the effort this gentleman puts into every single one of these episodes. I applaud this gentleman. I am appreciative that he does this with me and look forward to each and every episode. But a big, big shout out to Mr. Anthony Alvarez and everything that he brings to this program.
Well, I appreciate it for sure, definitely. And hopefully everybody has a good rest of the night. Enjoy the weekend. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Have a great week, everybody. And everybody, please stay safe out there.
Have a good night, folks.
I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what?